What is up, guys? I'm going to be sharing with you today an amazing moment that I had right here in this spot about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So in the previous episodes, I've been talking about journaling and meditations and things like that. So this will tie in with those episodes. Now, about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I was sitting here on my balcony over a couple of hours, journaling, meditating. I'd smoked a little bit of weed. I'd had a couple of beers. I was writing down what my ideal day and week looked like as I went through this transitional period. I hadn't actually had a conversation with Tiger Muay Thai yet about taking a step away from there and focusing on building my own business. And that conversation ended up happening about a week later. But I had this incredible moment where I'd been sitting on my balcony for a few hours, journaling, meditating, writing out what my ideal day and week looks like. And I just remember having this moment of clarity where, I'd had a really good day. Some things had started kind of falling in place. I'd been setting and creating a psychological safety net over the previous kind of 6 weeks or so, once I decided that I did want to step away from Tiger and focus on my own business. And all of those things came to a head in this one moment where I'd been sitting here on the balcony. And I just remember thinking to myself, everything is going to work out exactly as it should. And then I just had this moment where I just really relaxed and I lay down on this bed here and I was listening to one of my favorite playlists, which is my driving songs playlist. I love a good road trip. And Stairway to Heaven, where the drums kick in to kick off the song, like 3.5 minutes or so in, just coincided with this moment where I was like, everything is going to work out exactly as it should. And I just laid here and just listened to the music, and just had this incredible, amazing moment of clarity and presence, which I remember getting up from, and I was like, fuck, man, that was incredible. I need to remember that. So fast forward about 5 or 6 days or something, I had a conversation with Tiger, and I assumed that they were going to kind of kick me out the door and close the door behind me, but they were actually really good about it and have supported me through this process. So right now, about 3 to 4 weeks through that transitional process, where I am taking a step back and focusing on building my own business and putting the processes in place over the next couple of months to get my website up and running. So in the next video episode, what I'm going to do is share what I've got coming for you guys, what I've got in store, okay? But what I'm going to finish off this episode with is a podcast episode that I recorded last year when I was in Russia after a really good conversation with my friend Scott Robinson, who is also known as the Brain Guy on Instagram. I have his links below in the description, and I'll also link to the previous podcast episodes. So this is all about creating psychological safety. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date with any new episodes that come out. If you believe that friends and family can benefit from this, make sure you pass it off to them. Much love. Peace. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Live, Train, Perform podcast. I'm your host, Sean Kober. During last week's episode, I spoke to Scotty Robinson, who is the Brain Guy on Instagram. He's got a massive following for a good reason. He's able to break down very complex topics into easily digestible snippets so that you can understand how the brain works. Something that we spoke about last week was my NLP course, Neuro Linguistic Programming. This is basically how you talk to yourself, the words that you use that create certain states within your mentality. So what I thought I'd do today is share one of the modules that I did as part of my NLP Master Practitioner course. So this is going to give you some practical tools and exercises that you can do throughout this session that you can then think about and apply to your life. So we're going to go through my NLP Master Practitioner course. This is module 5, which is criteria for psychological safety. All right, let's get started. So before you consciously comprehend anything you see, hear, or feel, your brain has already screened it for safety. This safety check is not something you have a choice about. If something threatens your safety, you have no choice but to respond. Information from the outside world enters through your senses and is routed through the amygdala or primitive brain prior to, or at the same time, the new input reaches consciousness. If the primitive brain perceives any threat from the outside world, it mobilizes your hormones and emotions to deal with it. A rush of fear and adrenaline surface instantly. When your safety is threatened, everything else you were paying attention to just became much less important. As long as your safety is intact, you are free to focus on other things. Emotional safety is no different to the primitive brain than physical safety. In fact, research has proven that the primitive brain experiences emotional stress no differently than physical stress. When you feel emotionally unsafe, your brain's first priority is to recover from the threat. If you're moving throughout your day feeling emotionally unsafe, you will find it very difficult to accomplish anything other than to figure out ways to reduce the anxiety. Developmental psychologist Abraham Maslow understood this. In his legendary hierarchy of human needs, Maslow was clear: the need for physical and psychological safety is fundamental. It trumps social needs and even self-esteem needs. Imagine, you discover that your spouse or partner might be cheating on you. You hear a nasty and unfounded rumor about you in your favorite social circles. You must be around someone who criticizes you constantly. A boyfriend or girlfriend threatens suicide if you end the relationship. You discover your child is using drugs. You learn that a loved one is terminally ill. You get promoted at work, which requires speaking in public regularly. You have no public speaking skills. Or you find yourself involved in a lengthy lawsuit. None of the above examples involve any physical threat. However, all of them are emotionally intrusive and disruptive. It would be difficult to focus on other aspects of your life while these situations are in play. Now imagine being involved in several such scenarios at the same time, or imagine dealing with a multitude of lesser emotional stresses as a way of life. Among work, kids, romance, social pressures, health issues, deadlines, and endless to-do lists, modern life has become a chronic source of emotional stress for most people. Living in a state of chronic stress is interpreted by the brain as a threat to your safety. Emotional safety is primal. If we do not find a way to feel safe each and every day, we cannot accomplish much beyond reacting to the vague yet constant threats. Most of our life is geared towards reducing anxiety and getting to a place where we feel safe. Much love.